What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. It's been a little while, but I thought I should review the Avengers Doomsday trailer that just dropped 7 days ago. It's already racked up 53 million views, which is insane, but honestly expected. San Diego Comic-Con just happened, and a bunch of stuff got announced from that too, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, let's get into the trailer. Now, the trailer opens up with the old X-Men school, Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, from the original 2000s X-Men franchise. And I think with this movie and possibly Secret Wars as well, that franchises will be getting their send-off. Marvel has already said that they're going to be doing a reboot and a whole new X-Men at some point in the future, so it makes sense that these characters get their send-off. But it opens up on that school with Xavier sitting, looking out the window, and people believe that he's watching an incursion happen. First look, or I should say listen, at Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom voice with his, I believe it's an Eastern European style accent. And it sounds really good. It sounds really different. And honestly, I couldn't tell that that's who was speaking at the beginning. I had to play the trailer again, and then I realized that that's who was talking. But it was still really cool to just hear that voice and hear the kind of voice that he was going to do. Now, Doom only narrates a little bit of the trailer, and Thor narrates the rest of it. And I think Thor is going to be like the center of this movie heavily, simply for the way the trailer is breaking it down. He seems to be responsible with kind of bringing everyone together and, like, being the guy that goes to everyone's, specific areas and goes and grabs them up. We see Scott Lang again. We get to see Bucky, as well as Sam Wilson, rocking that shield and suit. Hopefully we get to see a good amount of them in this movie. I'm really just excited to see Cap back. Now, one of the biggest things with bringing this many characters on in one movie, it just seems like it can go one of two ways, where everyone truly gets a good amount of their spotlight and highlights of their abilities and the things that they can do and the people that we want to see them team up with, or B, it's going to be a complete mess. Obviously, everyone's hoping for, their favorite characters to get enough screen time. I'm hoping for more power usage from the Fantastic Four and people like that, and I'm hoping to not get shortchanged on any of the fights. I hope they use combos and things like that. I hope we actually get to see some really fun stuff and not just quick shots of it, but, some good, long, drawn-out action shots. I've seen one theory, like on Screen Crush, where a reason that Thor and everybody else, as well as the Fantastic Four, is coming together to fight Doom on top of the incursion, him trying to take over the multiverse, is the fact that he has possibly abducted the children. Franklin, Thor, who would have taken Love, and just things like that. And with Steve having the baby in the trailer, they think that he possibly could have came after all the kids, and that might be a reason that all these people are coming together the way they are. In the trailer, we did see Thor kissing Love on the head and talking to her in her sleep in the other trailers. So maybe that's probably not the case, honestly. We also see Dr. Doom basically handling Thor just easily by kind of waving him away. I don't think that's part of the big fight at all. I'm really hoping that that's not. I hope that that's just kind of the first time him and Thor run into each other, and Thor just kind of, realizes he's going to need help and different things in order to take him down. But I really hope that that's not part of the final battle. But I don't believe it is. I think that's going to be him, coming to terms. And one of the reasons he's giving this speech that we see in the trailer, why he's so afraid and wants to be ready for what's coming. We get an amazing shot of the X-Mansion with Cyclops, getting ready to do his beam, and then Gambit and Shang-Chi fighting it out on the top of the steps. And honestly, I can't wait to see that fight. I hope we get a good amount. Of course, I think the heroes are only fighting each other because it's just that, power strength testing and all that stuff. Everybody beating each other and not knowing who each other is. But hopefully it goes really cool, and we get a bunch of action from that. And then by the end of the trailer, of course, we get, Thor saying that we need a miracle. And we get that beautiful shot of, Steve Rogers. And I think it's just awesome. Seeing him bring that hammer back to his hand again was just, I don't know, it gave me chills. I was super hyped in the living room. I was freaking out. And if you look in the trailer, right behind Steve Rogers, somebody else is standing in the doorway. And it's been theorized that there's a couple different people that Thor's reacting to, not just one. So I really am interested to see who else is standing there. I think it's not just Steve Rogers he's reacting to, but I think it's a couple more members, possibly of the original Avengers or somebody else, that it's going to be really cool to see. Honestly, I think the trailer looks great. I think they did a fantastic job. I think this will be the comic book movie of the year to set the tone for the next few years of how comic book movies are going to be both made and perceived. Just having the Avengers name attached to it is going to give it a big expectations. So I think this movie is going to be really important for comic book movies going ahead. December 18th, can't come soon enough. We got the new Spider-Man coming out this week, which is super exciting. Honestly, it's a great Spider-Man movie. I feel like it's going to be fantastic, but it's just filler to get us to Doomsday. I'm not trying to be mean to Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Tom Holland's amazing, but I have to be honest. This is just and the fact that we're not getting to see Spider-Man in Doomsday, or it hasn't been confirmed, is honestly bumming me out. Seen Spider-Man, it just can't come soon enough. So I'm glad that we're getting this movie if he's not going to be in Doomsday. Hope he has to be in Secret Wars. I really, really hope we get to see the 3 Spider-Man again. If not, just Tobey or Andrew in Doomsday. But whatever the case, I think this is going to be a big deal. My honest hope is I think they can pull this off. I think they can pull this off and make people straight up hungry for Secret Wars if they do this correctly. Like I said, there's so many characters, so many actors, only so much time that they can put them on the screen. So whether or not this comes out as an absolute masterpiece or just a complete mess is really up to how the fans perceive it and how they time it out with the whole storyline and how they match it up with what's happened so far. As long as they don't take it in a way that leaves a bunch of loose ends that don't make any sense, then I think it's fine. But I think this is actually tying up a lot of loose ends that were already left. Things like what's going on with Loki, we see him in the trailer. So we're going to see a bit more about what he has to do with the timeline and how he's actually in control of different things. I think we're going to see a lot more of the TVA and what they've been doing since He Who Remains has been gone. And I think there's a lot of things that need to be talked about within that realm that they're going to have to cover as well. So hopefully they get the time to do that. Again, San Diego Comic-Con just happened. We got the announcement of the new Black Panther, and that was super exciting. I don't know that actor very well. I didn't see that movie, The Long Walk, but he looks like he was super excited to play the part. So, honestly, I think that's really just the most important thing. He looks super honored and happy. A huge responsibility to take over for an actor who's passed away and try to fill that role and fill those shoes. How they'll explain it of him coming back into or being in the universe, I don't know. It's comic book stuff. They can just variant or whatever. But I think how they address it will be very important, and how he plays it will be very important. We also got announced Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. That was amazing. I think everybody knew Nick Cage was not coming back as Ghost Rider. He's just, not that I don't think he would. I just think at where he's at in his career, I just don't think it's for him right now. He's just older and kind of moved on from something like that. But the idea that there's not going to be any mention or anything like that, I think there will be something at some point. But I think Gosling is really good as cast for Ghost Rider. We just got to see the movie. Obviously it's Sean Levy, the same director as Deadpool and Wolverine, so it's in good hands. Hopefully we get to see some better characters, not better characters, but more characters come out in the future. The one I was really hoping for, and I think everybody was hoping for, was Blade. And, I think Kevin Feige said that he feels kind of disappointed and like he failed a little bit because he wasn't able to bring Blade to the screen yet. Ryan Reynolds also showed up at Comic-Con talking and asking about the chance that he might appear in the movie. I think there's a good chance he's going to appear in both Doomsday and Secret Wars. Otherwise, I don't think they would have had the scene with him and Thor in Deadpool and Wolverine. I think they're going to go real crazy with Deadpool and just have so much fun with him and use them exactly like they do in the comics, just kind of like a clown where they put him in wherever they need to and just have fun with him. But it's going to give a lot of comic relief where hopefully if he's more of the comic relief, we can get more serious fights, more serious talking, more serious dialogue, and we don't need to undercut every single scene with a joke if we know Deadpool is going to be somewhere around with a joke waiting. So that hopefully will take the movie in a way more serious tone, and I think that is something they need to do with this movie. But are you excited for this movie? I would love to hear down in the comments. Do you have any expectations or any doubts that you're going to see certain things? I really do appreciate any time you spent watching my show. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.